You might have seen the story last week. Good Morning America anchors co-host Amy Robach, TJ Holmes, both of whom are married to other people, were having an affair with one another, and it burned up the gossip pages and much of social media. And now those ABC News has pulled both Robach and Holmes off the air in, of course, the Me Too movement. Mm-hmm. Joining us now is a TV anchor herself, Catherine Bosley. She's got a new book out, Forever and for All to See How to Avoid a Social Media Scandal and How to Survive One, which Catherine herself went through. We'll get to that in just a second. Catherine, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
But the good news is we're just a couple of weeks away from Christmas, so I think we can all put up with it, right? So first I wanted to get your thoughts on Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. And look, they're not the first. We had Mika and Joe. They were married to other people when they were canoodling. So what's their mistake? They kept it from their bosses at ABC. Is that the reason why they've been pulled?
You know, I think that ABC is just a little bit confused about exactly how to handle this at this point. With my situation, it was kind of the same way. When I went through scandal, my bosses said, take some time off. And then before I knew it, it was a forced resignation. I was fired. So I have a feeling that might be what's in store for them as well. So, you know, of course, ABC is owned by Disney, and they're trying to keep that brand, right? But the thing is, I don't think ABC is going to win really in any way, either way they go with this. If they fire these two, then they're going to be seen maybe as sanctimonious. And if they don't fire them, then they're going to be condoning, infidelity. So they kind of can't win for the moment. What's going to save ABC, I think, is the idea that, number one, time heals all, right? And number two, right, the next big deal is going to happen. The next big scandal is going to happen. Plus, these are not their A players. These are considered their B players. Not everybody knows these people, so they're not so attached to them as they would be to someone like Robin Roberts or George Stephanopoulos. So ABC, of course, they've got their hands full in a way, but I think, of course, they're going to survive the storm as they always do. They're big corporate. I worry more about Amy because it seems, as I was looking through some of the posts and all the trolls last night, it seems there's a lot of focus on Amy, and I believe that's kind of for par. It seems women are usually the ones who fall hardest in something like this. And so, you know, she's dealing with a variety of comments online, something like, Fred writes, both should have been fired already. The selfish fornicators of flesh cause pain and the destruction within the families they profess to love and care about. Their real truth is that they only care about themselves and their uncontrollable lust.
Well, as I understand it, TJ Holmes had done this before, though.
That's the same with TJ Holmes. So I'll get to him in a second. I got different thoughts as far as he goes, but, you know, and then then some people are saying, how is this sad? You know, why be somewhere you don't want to be? What's sad is people who stay in these loveless multiple affair marriages. So, you know, there's both sides going on, but it seems mostly they're coming down on her.
Okay, Catherine, I got to ask you. Let me circle back to the early 2000s because you referred to it kind of parenthetically, but you even made it to the top 10 list on like David Letterman, because after you'd had a hole in your heart repaired and then had a lung illness that was only cured because of the use of experimental drugs, you went down and with your husband, I believe at the time, and partied at Key West. Things got out of hand. You got naked. And pictures of you starkers were all over the place. And this was quite the scandal in Youngstown.
It was a scandal globally, quite honestly. In the search engines, I topped people like Britney Spears and Paris Hilton. And I'm just a little news anchor in Youngstown, Ohio. And so it's kind of anchor next door turned girl gone wild. And that was kind of the theme of it all. So it's just interesting how events like this just get so much attention. So yeah, I went down hard. I went down so hard that, this is before we even have the term cyberbullying, but comments were pouring in online. That's why I was looking at what comments pouring in online for them. But people saying that I was ugly and stupid and, I have no reason to live. And it's amazing. I was a 35-year-old woman then, but I wanted to die. And I had a plan on how to make that happen. It was that bad. I had no escape. I had Oprah calling. I was on Good Morning America across from my idol, Diane Sawyer, back then, ironically, sharing my shame with the world, explaining my mindset from that night, that I was kind of high, inebriated on the emotional high that I was going to live. I just found that out. And still on heavy medication, but also I went on to raise the red flag about this lack of privacy we have in our country today. So yeah, faith, family, and friends to the rescue for me. 3 federal lawsuits later, I got control of my life back again. I got copyright ownership to all those images from Key West, giving me legal means and to stop the dissemination and get as much of it off the internet as I can. But we all know once it's out there, no matter how many times you hit delete, or how many times you try to take something down, to some degree, it's out there forever and for all the people. So that has become my brand.
So your, I guess, cautionary tale or warning to others is, again, first on social media, be careful because anything you post digitally is out there forever. And secondly, to fight back because, a lot of people will just take their lumps and go away. But you decided to fight back. You decided to own it.
I decided to own it, and I think that's what these two really need to do ultimately. I know right now they need to be quiet because they don't know where their jobs stand exactly, and some kind of speculate the longer this goes on that they're not on the air, the more likely they are going to lose their jobs because now some negotiations are going on with their contracts. So I think until that's all figured out, they need to be quiet. But I think once it's figured out, whether they end up staying on Good Morning America or not, they stay on Good Morning America. I think ABC, they would find it very helpful if they actually addressed it. And if they don't stay on Good Morning America, I think individually or maybe even together, they need to address it. I think Amy especially, she needs to own it. She needs to take control of make her own story, make her own narrative. So what's going on? There's word out there that she was having a really bad relationship with her husband. No excuse for infidelity. Believe me, I'm not condoning infidelity either. I'm just talking about how you pick up the pieces on a professional basis. She's worked all of her life for this career. I know it. I did too. And luckily, I was able to get back on the horse. I got hired at a Cleveland station and went on with my career. But this has always kind of lingered for me. And now this is going to be part of her forever and for all to see as well. So I think in order to make it the forever and for all to see, that really gives her a little bit more credibility. She needs to share her story.
And the book is Forever and for All to See, How to Avoid Social Media Scandal, How to Survive One by Catherine Bosley. Catherine, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.